One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. On recent One Questions, we've talked to Western Illinois Athletic Director Matt Tanney. We've talked to Southern Illinois Athletic Director Tommy Bell. Previously, in the past 12 calendar months, we've talked to Sean Frazier at Northern Illinois. So we're going to complete the directional Illinois schools today with Tom Michael at Eastern Illinois. Tom, thank you for joining One Question. And let's start with a little piece of your background. And you spent a long stretch at the University of Illinois, of course, in Champaign, both as a student athlete and then well over a decade as an administrator. And one thing that I find interesting about your background and becoming the athletic director at Eastern Illinois, which we know is not too far from Champaign, many people may have said, well, Tom already knows everybody in Illinois, and he certainly knows everybody in kind of the central Illinois area. And that very well may be true, but how does that actually impact how you get your job done on a daily basis, how you move the Panthers forward? And is it even a piece of the process that leads to getting a job from Illinois to Eastern Illinois?
Well, Matt, first, I feel extremely fortunate to have been able to begin my professional career at my alma mater at Illinois, where I played basketball. And having a chance to go back to Illinois and work with Ron Gunther and many outstanding coaches was really a great start for me. So being able to spend 18 years working at Illinois, I feel extremely fortunate because in this profession, so many times, you're forced to pick up your family and move to from institution to institution to continue your professional growth track. And I was able to get that through my experiences at Illinois, working with Ron, and then Mike Thomas the last 3 years that I was at Illinois to be able to grow professionally. Certainly, being somewhat in the shadow of Illinois here at Eastern, there's certainly some positives and negatives to that. And spending so much time at Illinois, it did help. Certainly, because so many people knew of me from my playing days, if they've got a really good memory, and then also from what I did as an administrator at Illinois. So that certainly helped from opening the doors, starting those conversations with people. The introductions became very easy because they knew a lot about me, and so that was helpful. But it also helped from the standpoint of being in the state to understand the dynamics of working in the state of Illinois. Certainly knowing a lot of folks within the other institutions within the state, just from our interactions and different opportunities to work with them. And that's been a great resource to learn and grow in this role now for 2.5 years. That has been really beneficial to reach out to those folks, whether it's Tommy at SIU, being on some calls with him. We play Western in football. We have the last couple of years, so getting to know Matt, Larry Lyons at Illinois State. We're working on a football schedule with Sean up at Northern. So it has been really good and productive for what we're trying to get done.
Is one of the challenges that is a benefit for you of knowing who's who and how things work in Illinois, the current higher education funding situation, which we've read plenty about and D1 Ticker's covered some of, is that a facet of your job that is easy is the wrong word, but is it a little more seamless for you than somebody coming from the outside and trying to understand how these budgets work?
Well, I think it makes it more understandable. You're right, Matt, that it's not easy by any means, but understanding our state, understanding the processes, certainly the history of what has happened, what's taking place, gives a little bit better feel. But what our approach has really been over the last year to year and a half has really been, let's concentrate on what we can control. I really challenged our staff, because there's times when it can, the negativity can really creep into what you're doing from a culture standpoint. And I really challenged our staff at the beginning of this year, just very simply telling them that if anyone thinks that they can make a difference in Springfield, then that's where they need to go and really try to make a difference in what we're doing. If not, let's really concentrate on how we can make our experiences here for our student athletes as good as we can make them. Let's make sure that our fans and all those who support EIU doesn't see from their perspectives when we're putting on events and games and what we're trying to get accomplished competitively, academically, socially, that they don't see any drop-off or any issues in what we're doing. And I credit our staff that we've got here, our coaches, and our student athletes for really embracing that mentality right now and working extremely hard to have success in all facets of what they do.
Let's talk some men's basketball. For one, it's such a big part of your story, but there's some interesting facets of what's going on in the marketplace that I'd love your feedback on. One of which, so your men's basketball team, as we're recording this, is 6-4, headed to Missouri this Saturday for a game with the Tigers. But you've played 10 games, and you've already played two opponents twice. That would be Troy 2 times within a week early in the season, once down at their place, once at your place, and then Western. You played Western at home in mid-November, late November, and then a span of 20 days went to Macomb to face them on their campus. Is that a result of the difficulty of mid-major scheduling these days that we hear a lot about, or is it kind of a refusal to just sell out and play game after game after game on the road in a guaranteed capacity?
Well, Matt, I really think it's a combination of all of those things, really. We're always looking programmatically, as well as from a conference perspective, for ways to increase our RPI. If I ask our program to play more guarantee games than what we already play, the likelihood of that helping our RPI certainly lessens. And it's, the other side of that is, as you mentioned, trying to find competitive games in which you can bolster your home schedule too. So it's really a combination of all of those things. Obvious that winning percentage goes up when you're able to play at home, and trying to offset your schedule to help in that regards is certainly important. I think what we're trying to do is look at a variety of other factors too, such as how does this non-conference schedule help prepare our team for the conference season. We need to be playing our best basketball in January and February, and hopefully playing teams like Troy on the road, going to Indiana State next week. We played at Northern Kentucky this past week. Being able to play Western Illinois in a home and home in the same season series, we hopefully that helps us prepare for success later too. Jay Spoonhour has been very good about trying to put together good guarantee games. We've got 3 on our schedule this year, and certainly Missouri coming up on Saturday is one of those, as well as balancing a couple home and home games in the same season like Troy and Western Illinois, and then also adding some home and home series as well. So, there is a real science to balancing a basketball schedule. With football, you're doing that so far in advance. Basketball isn't like that. You certainly have more games to try to fill in. I think it's important to make sure that you do have some home games to help that RPI piece, and that really is a big factor. Jay and I talk about that frequently. We pay attention to the RPI numbers, and some of that is just pure luck. You make these schedules, and you think a team may be in a certain place RPI wise, and when you get to playing them, maybe they're there, maybe they're not, and then come February, the end of February, then it might look completely different. So some of that is pure luck in how you schedule that, but at the same time, you hope you have you have some plan and vision in place as you're putting that schedule together.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.